Hey, I don't give a lovely fuck about what them bitches gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a lovely fuck about what them niggas gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sister, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's a Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm really no man, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the pistol. I get the order, be glad at this mission. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga. Training, go through the baddest conditions. I fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. And that thing Putin like that, man. Niggas, she know I'm a prophet, she gotta be listening. Disrespect, I ain't having that shit till I go make some bitches, some scratches. She bitchin' the different breed of black men. We gon' do the back bend. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling dope to black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like, forget about my face. We standing up straight, can't hold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go to some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we sold you. You can take that to the bank, we focus on. How many times must we remind you? One body, one way, some way. I would never take off the face. When the law with your ain't no up next. It's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that. The Lord call a nigga out the world. I responded and called back. Oh, Lord. And everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit. We want all that. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on, the commanding general, your honor, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine, that's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. That's why we unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake niggas. We taking ground when we in your city. You better hide the women, hide the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't but the same. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in here with me. You in the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Fucking Hispanic, Native American, Indian, we ain't just talking shit. But we living in it, we be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be precious hell, take a picture. And we professional with the scriptures. Play, we gon' scratch them, yeah, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Swear minute, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't get it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The slide that I know about is when I assemble the group with the slide, the real. I get the harder, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die for kill. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet up by me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got nines, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like bitch or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on, the commanding general, your honor, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all don't fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. Understand me? Like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Hey, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. Oh.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my houses. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering?
Absolutely.
Should a thief go to jail when he steals?
Absolutely.
Should a robber pay back the money he robbed?
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle sat in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that when them in the cages, safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the brutal show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I back gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off well, praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in the dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. There was designed fire for our babies to pass through it. The damn my king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
I got big rank, you mad, get stained, work hard, then play, bad bitch, my taste, we vibe, we lay, you purple, you gay, unique jazz, lil' fame, I'm on wall, got the same, 4 on, 4 on these people, 4 on, I try to tell these motherfuckers time to time, 4 on, pussy ass, purple ass nigga, man, 4 on, they get your born ass right. Niggas better get their weight up, you little body bitch. Worry about a damn pay cut, you little body bitch. I ain't worried about none of these niggas, little body bitch. You that scare rag, cow ass little body bitch. Had to fuck around and get my rank up, you little body bitch. And I'm pouring up, young nigga, and I'ma take a sip. All these niggas run down, hate, but tell them zip it, lip. And you a dumb ass, scare ass, boy, little body bitch. And I ain't worried about nothing, nigga, nah, I ain't worried about shit. I got more than one, so you know, nigga, don't reminisce. I spit flavors on these damn beats, niggas better catch a pitch. Never knew a goddamn man be scared to represent. But you a whole ass, dirt ass, little damn body ass nigga. Get body with the damn scripture with your little body ass nigga. Nigga, I'm a true priest, true line nigga, true Zion ass nigga. And you a little boy, little bitch ass, little body ass nigga. You ring, you mad, get stained, work hard, then play. Bad bitch, my taste, we vibe, we lay, you purple, you gay, your leech ass, lil' fame, I won't walk, got the same, 4 on, 4 on, For wrong. I tell them, nigga, for wrong. Get your shit together, nigga. For wrong. Work it. I'ma do this shit till I rock it, you little body bitch. I'ma ditch your ass like your pot, you little body bitch. And I'm smooth with it, y'all zaka, you little body bitch. And I switch nigga on that thought, you little body bitch. And I'ma stay turning like the cars, you little body bitch. And I'm so cold like a bond, you little body bitch. And I'm a war like that Gabar, you little body bitch. And my aim like that Azar, you little body bitch. Need a princess pop out, you little body bitch. Or anyone down the slide, you little body bitch. Yeah. I keep a couple straps in my ride, you little body bitch. Just in case anyone won't die, cause I'm body bitch. I got it, be right, you mad, get stoned, work hard, get played, bad bitch, my taste, we vibe, we lay, we perfect, we pay, we tails, love fight, all on, I say, for wrong.
All my niggas ride for me. I got niggas that'll die for me. You niggas ain't built like that. Run around talking like a thug when you gon' bust a slug, man. Niggas get killed like that. Acting like you bang for the set when you ain't blood or cuz, man. Blood'll get spilled like that. Niggas saying really they the plug, but they talking to the judge, man. Get your cap built like that, cause niggas get killed like that. When you ain't built like that, you niggas ain't built like that. You was never on the block, you ain't never dodged a knock. You ain't never fought another crew holding down the park. You ain't swam with the sharks, you ain't wrestled with the gators. You was never fucking popping, you ain't got no fucking haters. Bitch, niggas like you make me watch out for the traitors. When you round some real niggas, mind your behavior. I will beat a nigga ass, then I'm laughing like I'm Jada. Get your fucking mind blown like a cartridge on a Sega. You niggas want attention, they don't want the war though. Talking all that shit, but you got a glass jaw. Ho, they never deliver. They got that DiGiorno. This that Walking Dead flow. I eat a rapper torso. You ain't the same man when you off the microphone. You ain't never broke a bone. You ain't never had a scar. You a certified pussy, so don't make me pull your card. I'm a certified prophet, respected like the word of God. Cause you ain't got the heart, nigga. You ain't got the heart. You ain't about to finish any beef that you start. You ain't never been a soldier, little nigga. Play your part. Claiming that you'll spark when you ain't got the heart. Cause you niggas ain't built like that. Run around talking like a thug when you gon' bust a slug, man. Niggas get killed like that. Acting like you bang for the set when you ain't blood or cuz, man. Blood'll get spilt like that. Niggas saying really they the plug, but they talking to the judge, man. Get your cap built like that, cause niggas get killed like that. When you ain't built like that. Run around talking like a thug when you gon' bust a slug, man. Niggas get killed like that. Acting like you bang for the set when you ain't blood or cut.
Yeah, Shalom Israel. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding John Yohana. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969, that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we belong to the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, right? When you hear about Israel, it's not the nation that you know about today in the far Middle East, right? With all these Caucasian people, right? They are Jewish people, meaning that they converted to Judaism. But the true Israelites, right, we are the bloodline descendants, right, of the Israelites named in the Bible, right? The Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man are the bloodline descendants. When you read about the Israelites in the Bible, we are the bloodline descendants, right? These Jews in Israel today, they are Ashkenazi Jews or Caucasian Jews, right? And that nation was formed in 1948, right? When they brought across all these Ashkenazi Jews to settle within that region, right? But the true people, the Lord's people, right, according to the Bible, is Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? And if you look at all the videos, right, and the teachings of this school, right, they will begin to understand and learn about the history and the archaeology, right, about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and you will learn about the scriptures, where Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people are prophesied to be the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, right? So before we get into it, right, this is the ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago, right, under Priest and Officer Swapiala, right? He's the camp leader for the zone, right? If you want to reach out to him, right, you can reach out to him. The numbers are passing across the screen, 479-8286, right? And the school is located at Morris, Lightpool number 1, Morris Street, Point Fortin, right? So if you want to get in contact with our camp leader here in Trinidad and Tobago, right, just call the number and ask for Prison Officer Swapiala, right? And he would be able to guide you accordingly if you would like to come to the school, right? Or you would like to be a student in the school, right? They could call, ask to communicate with the camp leader of the zone, and you will be guided accordingly, right? Also, we have classes during the week, right? Monday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., Tuesday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., right? On a Wednesday, which is tonight, right? We usually run a 1-hour class locally down here in Trinidad from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. and then we will switch over to DC, right? Where we'll be tuning to the DC school, and we will learn from Captain Mashak, right? Who is the captain over the zone, right? So we usually tune into the DC class and we be a part of that class. You could ask questions. The class is very interactive, right? And you can have your questions answered there also, right? Yes, shalom, sis, shalom, Yawa Basham, Yawa Shamal Altan Basham Yoshai, right? So what for tuning in, right? So without further ado, we're gonna get straight into the class tonight. Remember, this class is only up until just before 8 o'clock, right? And then we would make the switch over to the DC school where we will tune in with Captain Mashak, right? So as we're going to get it tonight, we're going to talk about some of the stuff happening locally here in Trinidad, right? So you know it is leading up to the Christmas season, right? All over the world, right? And here in the ISUPK, right? If you tune into the classes, they will learn that Salakia, the holidays of this world, right? Of this place, right? Is pagan holidays, right? These are not the holidays that the Mosai wanted us to keep or to celebrate, right? The Mosai in the scriptures have his high holy days, his feast days, right? That he wants the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to continue and keep that tradition throughout all our generations, right? But as we know, in today's world, many of these pagan festivals, right, influence many of our people, right? And one of the major places that brings that influence on us heavily, right, is these religious organizations, right? Because they push this Christmas season very heavy on the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right? Telling you that the birth of Christ was December 25th, right? And these things are not true, right? Having us carrying our children, right, to see Santa and all these different type of things, right? When all these things, right, are pagan pagan days, and they have Santa like a idol, right? A false god, right? That children look up to, right? As him being some someone to worship in a sense, right? Right? And if they behave good or bad, understand, he would know, right? And they try to give Santa Claus this um uh, personification, like if that like he is God, right? Or I'm all knowing and all seeing and is everywhere at all time and living in the North Pole and all this type of nonsense, right? And these things are not true, right? According to the scriptures, right? These things are idol worship, right? No fat white man in coming down no chimney in the middle of the night, you understand, into your house to deliver no gifts, you understand? So don't influence or tell your kids these type of things, you understand? Because on a normal, right, if a person should dress up in a red suit, any random person, right, and come down through your roof, right, where we do have much chimneys here in Trinidad, but come down through your roof and enter into your home in the middle of the night, right, asking to leave toys for your kids, right, that would certainly be a red flag, right? That would be an imposter, right? And these things are pushed on the social media and all these cartoons and things to children, right? Only for them to become older, right, and realize that these things are not true, right? So in other words, they come like they learn an evil lesson where they realize as kids, right, their own parents or loved ones end up deceiving them, right? And this is why we should not push these pagan festivals or these pagan holidays. These things are myths and is not true according to the Bible. We should celebrate what the Most High Power gave us, right? Which is our feast days, right? We still in the feast of Hanukkah, which runs for 8 days, right? This is an amazing feast, right? We come together with your brothers and sisters and enjoy, right? The camaraderie and the company, right? With your brothers and sisters in the truth, right? And if you want to be a part of these feast days, right? We always make the announcements. You could call the school and ask Salakia to be a part of these days so you can also experience, right? And keep the Lord's high holy days with us in the school, right? So we're gonna get into right. We're gonna get into a little article here, right? And this was happening in Trinidad, right? I'm gonna just share the screen. All right, so this happened in Trinidad and Tobago. And take a look at this, right? This is a story that Trinidad and Tobago had a major drug bust in Trinidad, right? And they were crediting this drug bust, right, to the radar that was installed in Tobago, right, which is the other island, a part of Trinidad, right? And they were crediting this drug bust to this radar, right, that the U.S. military installed in Tobago, right? And they ran this across all news outlets in Trinidad. They had the leaders in government, right? They had ministers in Homeland Security, right? And they had top officials in the police, right, running this story, right, and crediting this drug bust to this U.S. radar, right? So we go run the story, and then we will come back. to talk about it. Yes, now I'll make sure I had the
This
footage.
boatload of marijuana, with an estimated street value of over $170 million, was not found with the assistance of the U.S. installed radar. Retired Lieutenant Commander Norman Dindial made that clear in an interview with CNC3 News today. This contrasts with the Prime Minister's comments on the radar last evening while speaking to students and other CXC stakeholders at the awards for outstanding performances in the council exams this year.
Today I met with some officials from the U.S. Embassy this evening before I came. That's not in my script, but I can share it. Using the radar that we installed in Tobago, we were able today to drug bust $171 million worth of illegal drugs in Trinidad and Tobago. I share that with you.
However, Dindial said there is no truth in the air detecting radar being capable of identifying drugs in Caroni.
The radar cannot see through the northern reach. The radar cannot see anything at all that's in the Caroni swamp. So they are blatantly lying. They are using, or they are trying to use a propaganda mechanism to justify putting that radar where it is right now. The radar cannot, simply put, see into the Caroni swamp.
Right? So it became a embroiled, right, in a battle, right? While they were trying to justify that this massive drug bust in Trinidad and Tobago was found because of the installation of this US military radar, right? And some of the experts in the field in radar technology, right, as you see on the screen, will say no, that is not how it works, right? And this doesn't happen just like that, right? And this is not how that technology works, right? And they were pushing the story all across Slovakia, all across the media, right? And many people didn't know what to believe, right? Because they made sure and heavily broadcast it across the media, right? And many were telling them, no, that is not true, right? And they were trying to expose the lies, right? And they held up the story for about a week, right? And many people, some was just forced to believe it, right? And this is how the oppressor operates, you understand? When he has an agenda, he just creates a story, right, and runs that story across his media outlets, and the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man are at the mercy, right, of the oppressor, right? Or when when he pushes his narrative over the social media. And this is how serious, right, and easy he starts to creep up and bring his oppression upon the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, because many simply do not know, understand? And many times they could be forced to believe, if you don't have a proper guide or proper leaders over you, to believe whatever narrative comes out on these different types of media, right? And that's what we see here in the ISCP under command in Jellyhana. We have leaders and teachers, captains, officers, generals, and men above us, understand, who would be able to decipher and show you the right way according to the scriptures. So we wouldn't be fooled by the tricks of the oppressor, right? We wouldn't be deceived, right, by his smooth words, as the scripture says. You understand? We would be able to discern, understand, and escape the snares that he set up for the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. So as they begin to push this narrative, right, many of the top officers in Trinidad started to to push the narrative all through these different news outlets, right? So we will continue a little bit.
Speaking this morning as he opened a city police substation along the Brian Lara Promenade, Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara, like his Prime Minister, praised the raider for facilitating the second drug bust. He says hours after the seizure of 1,560 kilograms of marijuana, police were led to a forested area where they found 625 kilograms of marijuana. Addressing concerns about why no arrests were made in either of the find, Guevara says as a compassionate leader, he could not leave his officers to face the dangers of mosquitoes.
We had to go with a boat. And hearing this boat coming from miles away, you know the police coming, you ain't going and come back for the weed. So what the police will do? We take it up and we move with it because we're not going to leave it there for it to end up on the streets. Likewise, same thing last night. When you enter South Central Road, the first thing you see, men on their phones. So why would I leave my officers to do surveillance in the bush for 2 and 3 nights to get mosquito bite and dengue?
But didn't yell rubbish?
Right? So that was the police commissioner, and he was saying he didn't want to leave his men, right, to do the surveillance, right, so that they would be able to catch whoever brought in all this massive amount of drugs onto the coastal areas of the Caroni Swamp, right, which is a place in central Trinidad here, right? And he said, and his excuse was he didn't want them to get mosquito bite, right? So the excuses started to become more and more silly, right? And this narrative was pushed while some of the experts were pushing back. This narrative was pushed over the mass media in Trinidad and Tobago, right? Because many people were ignorant to how this technology really works. The average man wouldn't understand, right? And when that happened, a week later, all right, this happened. So let me just share this with the screen. This is what took place. This was the new headline taking place, right? Right. So this was the new headline that took center stage, right? After they had this back and forth with what the technology can do, and mind you, this was brought out by Prime Minister, Police Commissioner, Ministers in Homeland Security, and all these different people, news agencies. They were saying and crediting this massive drug bust, right? Because they were running with the same agenda as America placed, right, against Venezuela, right? Because they are in support of this narco trafficking agenda, right? And after saying all this and brought that massive story about how much drugs they find because of the radar that was placed in Tobago, this is what the headlines read, right? And now the headlines, I don't know if you see it on the screen here, right? But the headlines are saying the manufacturer was interviewed by the New York Times, right? And it said that the radar that was installed in Tobago is unable to track any maritime, right, or men or military personnel on the ground, right? So, in other words, the radar was made to track air traffic, missiles, and stuff like that. You understand? And this agenda was run by our top leaders here in Trinidad, right? And this is the spirit that the oppressor brings when you join hand in hand with him, right? And I will just read the book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 21. It says, this is the spirit of the oppressor. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And this is how we know that our leaders pick up, right, the spirit of the oppressor, right? Right? This is not us making this up. This is what the Lord said to look out for. They, right, began to bring lies, understand, and speak smooth words, just like how the oppressor does it, understand. And this this agenda bringing and forcing the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to hate his brother and sister over in Venezuela. You understand? The Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, we all are one people. The people on the South American continent, in the country of Venezuela, they are our brothers and sisters. You understand? We are one people. You understand? But they pushing this agenda when every story that comes out with Venezuela is always drugs and narco trafficking, understand, and how they're trying to destroy Trinidad people. So automatically or psychologically, in the mind of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, we would want to hate our brothers and sisters. Now, many in Trinidad know, right? If this didn't come out, right, we would be hating our brothers and sisters, thinking that they bringing all these drugs to Trinidad. You understand, right? And every Venezuelan person that the average man would see, they would begin to think that they are narco traffickers, they are drug pushers. When there are many people, right? If you speak to Venezuelan people on a daily, many of these people are well qualified, teachers, doctors, nurses, understand? People, the people in healthcare profession, right? Right? Doing well, understand? But the narrative being pushed is that all these people are drug traffickers. And then now, the Black, Hispanic, and the Black man, right, and Native Indian man in Trinidad thinking that he is separate from the Hispanic man, right, in Venezuela, from the Venezuelans, when we are one people, right? And this is how the oppressor comes in to divide and conquer, you understand? And the leaders in Trinidad and Tobago, whether be it religious or political, they have become or picked up the spirit of the so-called oppressor. Understand? They have picked up his ways, understand, and of bringing lies or changing the opinions of people in their mind. You understand? By, just as the scripture say, by smooth words. You understand? It says his mouth was smoother than butter. You understand? And when they began to bring this narrative against our brothers and sisters in Venezuela, right? When they began to bring that narrative, it started as narco trafficking and drugs. You understand? And when you look at the headlines today in the world, right? Now the US is blockading oil tankers and seizing oil tankers off the seas. It has moved from the narco trafficking story to now it is an oil story. Understand? Which was the issue from since the beginning. You understand? These people built an entire narrative, understand, against our Venezuelan brothers and sisters. Understand? Many countries in the world and the ISUPK under command in General, we do promote drug. We do not promote drug trafficking. Understand? Right? Right? But these this so-called oppressor, understand, bringing this accusation against the brethren, this is not true. Against our brothers, against our sisters, this is not true, and the world is getting to see it day by day. Understand? Right? Babylon the Great, known as America today, is getting exposed daily. We getting to see, right, the true face of the oppressor. The Caribbean is getting to see the true face of the oppressor. Right? Right? Just yesterday, right? The United States issued a visa ban on Antigua and Dominica, 2 more Caribbean islands. You understand? Were added to the list, right? And these islands were added to the list because they became the forefront of the voice, right? Because they wanted to be the mediator between the United States and Venezuela, right? Dominica offered themselves to be the mediator. And one day after, they were banned from coming to the United States. Right? Right? And this is what this is the kind of this is how the oppressor operates. This is how he tries to in a sense blackmail these Caribbean islands because they don't have much resources, right? As these bigger countries. Understand? So they will try to blackmail them, right? Or bring some type of oppression, right? Upon these Caribbean islands. And the majority of people in these Caribbean islands are Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. Look at Dominica, look at Antigua, understand, Comoland, Grenada, all these countries that are under pressure in the Caribbean, right? Trinidad and Tobago, right? Are either Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian people. You understand? And they are bringing down the pressure, right? So that it will look like we are taking the side of America, right? Or taking the side of the oppressor when we are not, right? Many of them, these islands cannot survive because their imports are very large from America, right? Or they depend on some type of aid from America, right? And so they are very vulnerable to any type of sabotage, right? Once they do not align themselves to support the so-called oppressor, that's it. You understand? They are going to have some type of sanction or some type of ban, and whether it be a visa ban or some import or some tariff that will be brought against them. Understand? And just like the scriptures bring out, the ICPK brings out in the scriptures, right? This is oppression. You understand? The Caribbean is now getting a chance to see. You understand? The oppressor at work. You understand? This is the oppression for the Black man. It wouldn't have no peace. You understand? When your pastor, your religious leaders, right, wherever you may be, on what island you may be, was looking at this, you understand? There is no peace coming for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. The oppressor will do all in his power, understand, in his time on the earth to try to bring oppression and force the Black man under servitude. Understand? And when you look at the Venezuelan people today, many of these people are protesting in the streets, right? And when you look at many of the mainstream media, they're not showing it. Understand? They're not showing that the Venezuelan people do not want America to invade their land, right? They're not showing it. But, understand, the narrative being played out is that these people want to be saved by America, right? And this is the trick of the so-called oppressor. This is the trick, understand, that they push, right, against the people. And many of the Caribbean islands, knowing the United States history, right, have suffered terribly under intervention by the United States, right? There are places like Nicaragua and Panama and Grenada, right? All of them suffered under the hands of America terribly, right? Trinidad and Tobago, right, played a major part, right, for the West or the United States in World War II, right? Just the other day I was reading an article where it said 30,000 people from Trinidad and Tobago participated in World War II, right? And many of the World War II ships were serviced and repaired and refueled in Trinidad, just like what is happening today, right? And now Trinidad has reached a place where the US is now occupying our airspace, right? and our coastal areas. You understand? And this is oppression. You understand? And the people who are going to suffer in this is the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. And that's why we need to come back to the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, right? And let us, right, keep our heritage. Let us remove ourselves from among the heathen, right? You Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, I don't know, you might be in the army. You don't know what to do? Call the school, right? And let them give you the advice. Don't let the heathen send you to war. Understand? Right? You might be the lucky one tonight to hear this message. You call the school. Understand? Right? The number passing across the screen. Light pole number 1, Morris Street, point 14 is the address, 479 8286. Right? And let us separate ourselves, right, from these other nations. And you Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, right? Remember, you are the true Jews of the Bible. You are the Lord's chosen people, right? And with that, I say, Shalom.